Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video. Going to get back on that regular content grind now that I've got a bit more time. And today I'm going to be talking to you about something that might have escaped your attention. It's another instance of streamer-related greed. And what looks potentially, I think it's fair to characterize it this way, as a deceptive practice against the fan base of one particular streamer indeed. And it does relate to somebody who I'm sure you've heard of, the notorious Ice Poseidon. Now, I will say right off the bat, Ice Poseidon has distanced himself away from this story that I'm going to tell you about. And said that he wasn't aware of any of it. There's no way at the moment to ascertain if that is true or not. I don't think you can necessarily say, oh, well, you know, I commissioned a guy to do this and I didn't know he was going to do it. So, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's necessarily a fair excuse. But it does relate to a person we've talked about before on this channel. And it related to Phantom Lord and Phantom Lord's return. And it's this guy. This guy is a developer called Andres_dev on Twitter, and you will know him as the guy that has been Ice Poseidon's developer for a while. He made the web app for Phantom Lord and his return, and most recently, he tried to make basically a game, which I'm going to do my best to describe as an old man. He made a game for Ice Poseidon's fans called CX Stocks. Now, first of all, I remember last time we talked about this guy when he made the app for Phantom Lord. Everyone was going, oh, he's a nice guy, you know, he's got to make money somehow. I mean, fuck that. Like, you absolutely do not have to do business with unethical people. You don't have to do that. And if you do, there is something there that you're saying, hey, I'm happy to be unethical myself, which, you know, I think it does reflect on your character if you knowingly enter into a business relationship with somebody that's effectively stolen money from people. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and a lot of people said it was harsh to even mention his name. Well, this does appear to be all about him. So first I need to tell you a little bit about what CX Stocks is, and I'm going to do my best to describe it as I said. Basically, one of the well, over at Ice Poseidon, they have this kind of ongoing, you know, it's all IRL streams. So they have people coming in, and you don't know who's going to turn up and who Ice Poseidon's going to hang out with. So what they wanted to do was create a game which had a cryptocurrency associated with it, CX Stocks. And it was meant to be a bit of fun. They were meant to have no actual value. And what you were supposed to do was you could bid and trade on people you liked on the stream, who were popular on the stream, and it would have their value rise and it would have their value dip. That was the whole premise behind it, a miniature stock market based around a personality's value to Ice Poseidon's stream. From the idea being kind of suggested on Ice Poseidon's subreddit to it actually being coded, it all happened very quickly. The problem is that when you downloaded CX Stocks, there was a cryptocurrency miner in the software. Now you might say, hey, but Richard, you said this was all about cryptocurrency, so what's the problem there? Okay, this is where the deception comes in. Basically, the premise was that the cryptocurrency you used to buy and sell stocks would be something called shekels. They would be a non-real, as real as a cryptocurrency is, a non-monetary value cryptocurrency that was there for a bit of fun. But the actual cryptocurrency miner that was in the software was mining real cryptocurrency with a monetary value, which was going to be pocketed by this Andres developer. And Ice Poseidon said, hey, I didn't know about that. But we'll get to that in a minute. So the piece of software that was hidden was called CoinHive. And you might have heard of CoinHive around if you're into these things. You know, it was used over on the Pirate Bay website as they tried to move away from ads. So they tried to find a self-sustaining, non-governed way to fund what is essentially illegal activity. People got upset by that. Some people supported it, but they were as transparent as they could be. They said, look, we're using CoinHive as a substitute for ads. It's going to be there. And that's how it works. So this wasn't expressly said anywhere within the development of this app. The coder didn't say, hey guys, we're going to be using your PCs to actually mine cryptocurrency. And what happened was that it wasn't very well optimized either. The CPU usage was shooting up to 100%, which is how people noticed it. And it was actually being flagged as malware and everything else. So you can see here from this Imager screenshot, again, this is what people noticed and started posting on the Ice Poseidon subreddit. And perhaps even more worryingly, in this second screenshot, you can see that it was also operating in the background on the website as well at iceposeidon.com. It was implemented over there. So, I mean, that's another sort of element to the deception that wasn't explicitly stated anywhere. Now, I did see today some people said, oh, people are overreacting. It did explicitly tell you that they were going to be mining cryptocurrency when you used the software. And I suppose that's true to a certain degree. I've got a screenshot of what it said when you logged in and you decided to use it. Now, here's the thing. This was what it said. So you can see here, like, start mining shekels. This will make your CPU solve math problems to create shekels and cryptocurrency. This might cause some slowdown. Mining will stop when you close this browser tab or press stop. And you can see here it says it's a shekel miner. Shekel miner is an embedded crypto coin miner that runs in this browser tab. This is done to prevent people from creating multiple accounts and ruining the economy. Your browser solve problems in the background and you'll receive your hard-earned shekels. Now, here's the thing. Remember, shekel was the non-monetary value currency that they were going to use. That was what the whole idea, the whole premise was meant to be. So you would be forgiven, in my opinion, for thinking, oh, hey, I'm going to click on this, and yes, it's going to be the shekels I'm going to be mining, right? Because that's the whole premise of the game. You've got to get the virtual coins so you can buy stocks and trades, but they have no monetary value, and it's not real, genuine cryptocurrency. That was how it was sold. That's how the idea was sold to the community. But actually what's happening is you get something that's worth fuck all, in layman's terms, absolutely zero. Meanwhile, the developer and whoever else he's agreed to fucking share it with, they get something that has a monetary value. They get the cryptocurrency and they use your machines to do it. So I do find it very difficult to believe that this isn't a quite measured and deliberate deception. Now, on top of that, let's just be clear here. You might like Ice Poseidon, you might like his content, that's great, each to their own. I've got to say, I think people of my age, older people, shall we say, to be generous, might not enjoy Ice Poseidon's content so much. I think younger people do, and let's be real, look, I'm an older guy and I've written about this before. I would still struggle to explain fully the nuance involved in mining cryptocurrency. Now, young people might not be aware that, look, you can reduce the lifespan of your computer by doing this. You can cause burnouts and overheating episodes, chronic reduction in performance. It might not even be their computer that they are saying, hey, yes, let's absolutely do this, as they rush to get their shekels, which, again, let's be clear, the shekels have no monetary value associated with them. The cryptocurrency that's getting mined and pocketed by the developer does. So that's another consideration. Now, interestingly enough, Andres has said, I mean, he's since deleted his Reddit account, so you will have to take my word on this. Hopefully there's some good faith there. But he did say that, look, there was no intent to be deceptive on my part, which seems ridiculous. And he also said that, people were like misinformed about it. Now, what's interesting is that Ice Poseidon denied that he knew about this, which, look, if you find that hard to believe, that's your opinion. Based on the evidence that's laid out, I've got to give Ice Poseidon the benefit of the doubt. And he even publicly said in an argument, which has been screenshotted now, as I said, but it's been, that deleted account is Andrew's Reddit account. He said here, like, look, the mining has to go, that he doesn't want it in. Now, the situation gets even more murky because what came out on another popular streamer's broadcast, Andres went over there and answered some questions about it. Again, I'd include a clip, but I'm not getting DMCA'd by a person who has a predilection for doing that to other people, despite showing other people's content all the time on their content. He said Ice Poseidon doesn't even own iceposeidon.com. I have registered that. So the streamer's name and brand has been taken over by a developer. And this is a problem because obviously if you like Ice Poseidon and that's the person you entrust, that's the person who represents the brand, that's the person you want to sign up and assist, and you go to a website with his name on it, you would be forgiven for believing that it's all about Ice Poseidon, but apparently not. So this developer even has sort of taken Ice Poseidon's name and created his own business around it. No doubt without Ice Poseidon's blessing, but again, it just adds this extra layer of nonsense and bullshit. Now, what's going to happen to CX stocks? We don't know. The game has been taken down, but it just seems incredible to me that people are like, oh, Andrew's, you know, he's done a lot for the community and stuff. Let's be clear, there is still a potentially legal ramification here because, first of all, if this software, if a data miner was deemed to be malware, then it doesn't matter if you have an approval box. It's still malware. It's still something that's going to harm your PC. Then on top of that, you've also got the issue that when it comes to kind of doing these data mining things, if your PC is damaged in any way, you are still within your rights to pursue a potential lawsuit against the person who has damaged your goods and services. And you might say, Richard, this sounds a bit melodramatic. Where are you pulling this from? Well, I know because this has come up in the past, most notably with ESEA. And you remember ESEA, that's the Esports Entertainment group. They're the people who have a popular Counter-Strike pugging system. And what they did over there was they turned their client, without telling anyone, into a Bitcoin miner. And people noticed, and it came out, and they had to go to court. And there was two reasons for this. First of all, there was a class action suit, which was brought about by people whose PCs were damaged by the overuse of the CPU. People claimed their graphics card burnt out or whatever. And ESEA wanted to settle that and repay those damages. And then second of all, there was the fact that the Attorney General said that it was consumer fraud. And I'm going to show you the Attorney General statement here. I covered this story from start to begin. I think I was the first, certainly within gaming, I think it was the first journalist to write about it after it hit the ESEA forums, and it wound up being covered by Forbes, the BBC. This is a big deal. People should know about this. So here's the thing here, and this the ruling. This is from the Office of the Attorney General, John J. Hoffman, and you can see here what happened is that they said that by using its customers' computers and using their computing resources to mine a form of virtual currency, they earned, they took over 40,000 computers and earned approximately $3,500. It would obviously be a lot more today by mining Bitcoins. And as a result of this, they were fined $1 million for infecting personal computers with malicious software code. Now, there was another issue here. I will say certainly on the surface, it's not as bad as what ESEA did. There's a reason why I repeatedly state what ESEA did is the most disgusting abuse of consumer trust I've ever seen in gaming. And that is because they also used the client to spy on you. They could read your Steam chat and other such nonsense, and they did gather intelligence against certain people. This is in the court transcripts. Again, this isn't an outlandish theory I've concocted. It's not anecdotal evidence. This was entered into court. They had to accept this as part of this ruling. So the $1 million fine involved $325,000 up front, with the remainder of it being deferred for 10 years, and then they would have to not pay it if they managed to adhere to all terms of the settlement. Now, this is a hugely important ruling, and certainly it is within this context. And look, if you feel, for example, if you downloaded CX Stocks and you feel that it's fucked your PC up, I mean, you've got a civil suit there. But also as well, there is now another argument about whether or not this has been deceptively planted onto your computer. And look, there's lots of apps. This has been in the news a lot. There's lots of apps that have cryptocurrency miners in the background, and that's been brought up before. But again, the argument is one of deception. If anything is agreed to have been deceptive in this, then it's serious. I mean, it's just that simple. It is very serious indeed for the coder who did it, and I can't believe that he consulted anyone legally before doing this. I simply cannot believe that. So the other issue that was brought to my attention, which seems also crazy, is, I mean, that it wasn't even the idea of the original of this developer, Andres. It wasn't his idea. What happened was somebody else had suggested it on the subreddit, a Reddit user called Lucifer, or Lucifer, I imagine it's a play on words of the cuisine. And you can see here that he's got the original idea just mapped out for what it became, for what CX Stocks became. And you can see CX Stocks was recently mentioned in ice streams yesterday. I've teamed up with another dev who's familiar with Reddit bot scripting to make this a reality. CX Stocks is an Ice Poseidon stream, sniper guest, random people interaction stock market. Every stream sniper guest will be a stock and will have X amount of shares depending on how frequently they appear on stream. Users will be able to buy and sell stocks within the marketplace, blah, blah, blah. And he outlines it. He talks about the app, how it will work, and says, if you like this idea, let's share it. Now, what then happened was Andres jumped in and said, oh, hey, I'd love to do that. Yeah, well, I'll take that off. I'll take that idea off your hands. And now the Lucifer, the original sort of person who conceptualized it, has come out and has said here in a thread, which again isn't accurate from the title, proof that ICE did know about the miner. It says here that I got the message and I was told I could work with Andres. Unfortunately, I didn't have any input in the end into CX Stocks. I should have been hesitant about it and gone through with the original idea anyway. We had a bigger idea for CX Stocks that might potentially involve real money, but it would have been not done for profit reasons. It was more about having interactivity with the stream and a chance to make some money for the viewers. Like, for example, subs would get some money back to spend on stocks. Stream snipers could release their own IPOs and other fun stuff. And I proposed this to Andres and he didn't really give me a good response on the idea. I decided to not follow through and leave it. We don't know whether or not ICE knew, and certainly the image that is allegedly evidence has subsequently been removed, I presume on the basis that it doesn't prove anything, but whatever. So that is right there, just how much of a fucking mess this is. But here's what we can glean from what happened, and that is that there was an idea that was meant to be a bit of fun, community related, not about profit, just something new, a new form of interactivity with the stream, which, to be fair, is Ice Poseidon's forte, for good or ill. And then the developer, Andres, jumped in, took over the idea, and didn't want to do any of the fun or cool stuff, wanted to focus on how he could basically work a cryptocurrency miner into a piece of software and have Ice Poseidon's extensive reach basically use it for profit. Now, there's also I mean, just imagine the madness of this. If Ice Poseidon didn't know, Andres has leveraged Ice Poseidon's name to get this software downloaded, to put it on your PC, to mine cryptocurrency that he then keeps for himself. And Ice Poseidon doesn't get a share of that. But Ice Poseidon, his reputation will certainly be harmed by this. I don't know if NRG are aware about it, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't want to be associated with this kind of shenanigans. So there's now an issue where if Ice Poseidon's got reputation damage, does he want to take this issue up with the coder? I mean, there's surely no way they can keep working together after this. I mean, this is an abuse of trust, very outside of the realms of what I would consider to have a good business relationship attached to it. And, you know, he said, like, oh, he's unmodded himself on Reddit and deleted his account and everything else. But he also did say just last night that CX stocks will come back. He's going to find a way to make it work. And certainly, I got to say, at this point, this isn't somebody I would trust. I wouldn't download a piece of software by this fucking coder if my life depended on it, because it's probably going to do something untoward. Because this guy obviously is looking to make money. And here's the thing. Maybe he doesn't get paid for what he does. Maybe he's doing it all voluntarily. Maybe that sucks that he's not getting his market value. You don't fix that problem by deceiving people and taking money from them effectively. You don't do it by leveraging somebody who's been kind enough to give you work, you know, and leveraging their reach. I mean, the whole thing is just grotesque. So I'm very interested to see where this goes. I mean, honestly, I think if anyone's had the computers damaged, it's going to get really problematic. I think if anybody believes that they were deceived and they downloaded the software not being fully aware of it, or if they were underage or whatever it is, I think this could be a problem that definitely comes back to haunt the developer, maybe Ice Poseidon as well. And that's based on my experience on reporting on these things in the past. Like, clicking a box doesn't necessarily mean that it's all good, like to put something on your machine. That's been, you know, challenged many times over. So I am intrigued to see where this goes, but I thought I would bring it to your attention because, you know, this is just another example of people getting fucking really greedy and basically reducing the audience to a bunch of numbers that they want to exploit for profit. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on that. I'll keep you up to date with anything extra as the story breaks. Hope that explains it all for you. And take care and see you on the next video.